Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Trade on Sporters videos. Tossers, we are traders, not tipsters. In this episode I'll be helping you to narrow down those trades and showing you my rule of 2 or 3 in order that you can decide whether or not to enter a trade. Okay, so what is the 2 from 3 rule? Well, firstly, we are looking for trades that assure us as best as possible that we can find a goal. We're only going to be looking for one goal. We're not going to complicate it by looking for 2 ahead, and so that will come later. We make it very simple. We're just looking for one goal. It's either a win or lose situation, and we're looking for a chance of about 90% or over. As you know, we've already discounted 0-0 at half time. We base our trades on goals in the second half based on what happened in the first half and the footprint or the amount of times that occurrence happened. So I want to talk about the rule of 2 from 3, and what I mean by that is if I see a game at half time that has 90% in the goal plus column, it immediately goes into my list for filtering. It might just even qualify on that alone. But if I have a trade that's had a couple of first half goals and it's saying 80 to 85% chance of a further goal, I go and investigate those 2. Anything below that I discount. The rule of 3 is, so we have the 90%, we must have a sample size of 10 or greater and the number must be within 1 of that number. So if we have 10 from 11 or 11 from 12, that is fine, as that is over 90% as well. And the third and final check I do is to see if there are late goals in that game. But I only require 2 of those elements to get myself involved in a trade. And I'm going to show you a game yesterday, as usual. We all spotted it. It was in the J League, and the score was 2-1 at half time, with the away team taking an early lead. And that early lead was in the first 10 minutes. What's important to remember when you're dealing with goals in the first half that are early, your sample rate will be smaller because the occurrence is less. And here you can see we've got a sample of only 8. But what we can see is all 8 went over 3.5. Still a little bit shy of the 10 samples that we need. So what can we do about that? Well, we can take a greater sample rate. So if we now expand out the time of the first goal, 0 to 20 minutes, and search, we'll be looking at a lot more games that have had this scenario. Okay, so GSA has come back and found 15 samples of this scenario now, with the slightly wider allowance for the opening goal. And down here we have a fantastic 15 from 15 have gone over 3.5. So immediately I'm interested in this trade. It's 100%. It has a good sample rate. And I just need to check one more thing to see if we can get late goals. So as I view the matches, GSA will draw up those 15 games and give us the footprint. And when I look to the left here, 76 to 84, 85 to 90, we have, yes, 1, 2, a really nice cluster of late goals. I now have all of the requirements I need to enter this trade, which I did around about 75 minutes yesterday, and we were rewarded with a late goal in the 92nd minute. So 3 rules. Do you have the sample size over 10, and is it within 1 of the number, 10 from 11, 11 from 12? Do you have a G plus at half time in the column saying 90%? And do you have a good selection of late goals? If you just have 2 from those 3, that's a trade you should be thinking about entering. So by digging down a little bit more and expanding out the size of the database, we found a really good trade. Even 8 from 8 was pretty good, but if you're working with a sample rate of 10 or above, you're always going to be on the safer side. But we proved that when we opened up the database, we got 15 samples and all 15 were over 3.5, an absolute monster, and a lovely late goal to pay us off. It's always a good idea to remember that rule 2 from 3. You will eventually build up your own criteria, but it's one I use regularly, and these games pop up every day. So don't overtrade them. Really cherry pick the good ones, and you'll certainly find you have more winners than losers. So that's it for me, guys. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please fill them out in the box below. If you'd like to know more about GSA, you can click on the link in the description below the video, and I'll see you next time for some more videos.